Next up in my Engage Maddening run is Sigurd's paralogue. Before I begin, I need to figure out what to do with Alchrist, who, quite frankly, peaked in Chapter 13 in Lynn's paralogue, and hasn't scaled very well since. Which is understandable, considering his middling growths. At this point, I feel that I have two options. Replace him with another unit, or change his build, so that instead of just dealing a bit of physical chip, he is dealing a bit of physical chip, with a modest chance to immediately delete whatever he's fighting with a Luna crit. I'm feeling adventurous and opt to go with the latter, giving him a refined killer bow with a Corrin engraving. It's not a particularly consistent setup, but it's funny when it works, and the Sigurd paralogue isn't so punishing that I'm in danger of failing because of it. It's actually a fairly easy map split into two halves. Your team begins on the bottom half, which contains a mix of sages, high priests, berserkers, snipers, and heroes. In order to make the top half of the map accessible, you need to eliminate a sage guarding the castle, but the map's biggest challenge is actually the pair of sages in the lower left corner. These two sages have fully capped stats, and as far as I know, aren't aggressive unless you disturb them. Naturally, I plan to do exactly that, because they give a lot of XP when they're defeated. This will be a nice way to help Rosado catch up to the rest of my team, and I make sure to have him emblem train with Lucina to pick up Parthia to increase his XP gains further. The process is identical to what I've been doing with most of the recent map bosses. After drawing the sages out, Pandreo engages with Corrin, and attacks the Bolganone user with a Thunder Tome to freeze them in place. Then, I spend the next few turns setting up easy Parthia one-shots for Rosado. In total, he is able to get 1 HP bar from the Thoron Sage, and all 4 from the Bolganone Sage, gaining about 50 XP each time for some very easy level ups. After eliminating the Sage guarding the castle, the bridge to the upper half of the map is lowered. A massive number of reinforcements pour out of the castle Sigurd is guarding, but it doesn't matter, because with Gallop, Sigurd easily outpaces them all. I leave 2 adjacent units at the edge of his threat range to entice him to use Override, and have my units form a box around his destination so he can't canter away. I am used to Sigurd engaged characters delivering some nice voice lines when they use Override, and am incredibly surprised, and mildly disappointed, when Emblem Sigurd's own Override lines are much more basic. On the following turn, I set up as many Parthia kills for Rosado as I can, and take out as many of the reinforcements as I can manage before finishing Sigurd off.